Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I am your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we're talking about Ninja Scroll, or better known as When Ninja Chronicles, Juubee Nimbucho.
I didn't know it had another name. I just thought it was Ninja Scroll, although it makes a whole lot more sense with the other title.
Yes, it does. Simply because Ninja Scroll, I think the only scroll parchment throughout the whole thing was towards the end, and it was
where they were asking for help.
Yeah, and she scribbles on this little parchment piece of paper, rolls it up into a scroll, tosses it up to a bird, a falcon, and there it goes. I think that's the only time we actually ever see paper, like scroll.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
There's paper laying around and things like that, but it's
anyways. Closer to the end, there's writing on the wall. I guess that could be considered poster, but it's not Ninja poster.
Yeah, no, it's not. So it originally came out in 1993. It was by the studio Madhouse. Looks like it too. Well, actually, no. I mean, like, it looks like it should be older than 93, personally. I felt the animation was a lot cleaner in Akira, and that was a lot. Well, that was older. That was 5 years older.
Really? For some reason, I thought Ninja Scroll came out after the fact. But before Akira. I thought Akira came out like 99. This was 93.
No. Akira came out in 88.
Oh, I should know this. We've talked about this before.
We did. we most certainly did. The producers was Movic, but Manga Entertainment and Sentai Filmworks were both licensors of it, and I rarely find something that Manga Entertainment licenses that I am a big fan of or that I thoroughly enjoy. Simply because the animation that they do tend to be, I don't know, a little shadowy.
Okay. I was going to say a little bit on the older side, like a little, I'm not going to use the term underdeveloped, but it's along those lines. What I've noticed is everyone has very stern faces, and they're all very serious and very, I guess, morbid, and kind of, for lack of a better term, the masculine side of all the animation is emphasized.
Yeah. The genres of this fall under adventure, historical, horror, although I don't really get horror from it. Supernatural, romance, samurai, fantasy, and Shounen. I would even toy a little bit with ecchi, just a bit, because of the...
You think so?
Because of the nudity in it.
That's...
I mean... It kind of it has more nudity than it has romance in this, and they're classifying it romance.
Fair. However, well, there is no however.
Yeah. This is a rated R movie by all means, every day.
All day.
Do not watch this with the little ones, because this is insinuates rape. It has gore. It's pretty brutal. I was
going to say, but be prepared to cover their eyes and ears.
Yeah.
No, actually, no, still I'm going to take that out. No, don't do it, because it's, I would say, like, the youngest that I'd recommend watching this would be like maybe 17, only because of the concept. So you don't want to mess up a younger generation.
Yeah. Now, one of the interesting things that I really found in this is they took an interesting approach to poison tasting, in the sense that one of the main characters, Kagero, her body is poisonous, and what they said was that she needed to stay behind initially at the beginning, because they were going to go check this area that quote unquote had the plague, and they were going to go investigate it. And they told her, and her name is the other ninja had told Kagero that she needed to stay behind, that she couldn't go with them because she needs to be there to make sure that the Lord doesn't get poisoned. And her comment was, he's not here. There's no reason for me to be here, so I don't have to test for poison.
And then she cuts her hair for some reason. It's supposed to symbolize something, but it's lost on me.
I would assume that it symbolizes her resolve to go through it, so that way the hair doesn't get in her way, because it's shorter, so that way she can move through.
There was a lot of symbolism in this movie that I didn't grasp. I understood that there was an importance behind these actions. I just don't know what that action, what the importance was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But going back to the movie, they go, and it's not a pretty sight. They realize that it's not poison, or it's not plague, mainly because they don't make it to the town.
Yeah, they don't even find anything
intercepted on the way.
Yeah, they all die brutally, except for Kagero.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he eventually dies brutally too, like bad.
No, Kagero is the girl. Kagero.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, she survives, but the dude who told her to stay behind, he survives too, just barely. Kind of gruesome, and it was really kind of cool. The attention to detail they did. I realize it's not a big step to miss, but when they're jumping through the trees, they've got this double-bladed weapon that's thrown like a boomerang. And when it hits anything, including trees, it just obliterates these full-grown tree trunks. And yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah, and what's interesting about all these other ninja that were actually attacking them, the enemies, they all have unique or special abilities, kind of like Kagero has. So the one that was throwing the double blades like it was a boomerang, his other ability was basically making his body as hard as stone or even harder than that so that he couldn't be stabbed or cut or anything. Another one, well, anywhere that it was of that particular material that his body turns to.
Okay. I was going to say, because he loses an eye.
Yeah.
In a spectacular fashion.
Right.
But I'm jumping ahead a few minutes.
No, it's all good.
So
he does lose an eye in very spectacular fashion. But honestly, before even that point, when he catches Kagero's brother, I'm assuming, and he rips the arms off of the guy, where I was like, felt like, this is a little too much, or that guy would really get sick, is when he's holding up. I mean, like, honestly, there's not going to be that much blood in the arm, but he's holding the arm up and he's like looking at her, guzzling the blood pouring out of the arm, and it's like it was sick.
It was extremely primal and just. This is where the horror comes in. I just realized that's horrific. Imagine being her. You just saw someone rip someone's arm off, and now they're consuming, and they have such little concern about you attacking them or you even getting away that they're taking their time and just taking unnecessary steps just to strike fear.
Yeah,
and so she obviously tries to run away and doesn't. Somehow this guy can turn into a stone, still be super ripped, and still be super fast and quiet.
Yeah.
So he's like a ninja plus.
Ninja plus.
Yeah, ninja plus. So he goes, captures her, takes her back to his little hidey hole or shrine. I think it might be a shrine.
They go to a random shrine, and that's when we not first meet, but when she first meets Juubee. Now, we already met Juubee from the very beginning when he's walking, eating a rice ball.
Talk about an entrance.
Yeah. And he's, getting talked smack to, and he just totally kicks butt.
Yeah, 3 mercenaries come to try to stop him from returning a sword, and he's eating a rice ball, and they're like, "How dare you leave us empty-handed?" And his response is just the coolest. "Well, if you want, you can hold my rice ball."
Yeah.
And then they all attack, and he kills 2 people. The third one's honestly kind of cool. He's, for lack of a better word, a smaller person hiding in the structure of a bigger person. Like, it's an exoskeleton, like
made out of wood,
Iron Man style.
Yeah,
super primitive. But this little guy's in an exoskeleton that makes him look like a taller, more imposing person with a gun. And he, like Iron Man, fires a gun out of the palm of his hand. And Juubee just like slices everything, and he jumps out of the suit, and you realize, no, that wasn't his hand. That was the butt of a gun, or that was the barrel of a gun that he was holding.
Yeah.
It was comical and just awesome all at the same time, because the little man is just like in a thong underwear thing.
Yeah. Well, he's supposedly already dressed and everything. He doesn't need all the extra clothing.
True,
but that is a great entrance for him.
Yeah.
It shows that he's not an idiot. He's thoughtful because he gives us reasons for doing what he did. Tells them that they're fools for thinking that they could get more money, which is what they wanted. And it shows that he has skill and that he's not even a fool.
We didn't even talk about the money. So the little guy who he's left alive was like, "Did you really take this job for 20 whatever it was? I don't know the denomination, but 20 whatever money they have." And he goes, "Yeah, I did." They're like, "You could get 300 for that, right?" And he goes, "It's a small village. They can't afford it. You're dumb if you think you can even try." And it was, just like you were saying, it was really good for showing his character
and sets it all up. And that's basically from there on. We already covered what happens with the ninja, the other ninja, and everything else, and the plague. and them investigating.
And Mr. Rockman goes out and he's basically like raping her. And she wakes up and he holds her by the throat and says, look, this is happening one of two ways. And hey, a dead girl might be a good lay too.
Yeah. And so she Juubee is noticed at that point too, because she gives up. And he tells him to get lost, and so Juubee just like comes over and nonchalantly squats down. And he's like, I'm trying to get to this area. Can you tell me which way it is? And that's when Big Guns there tries to slice him
with his double. Oh, that's kind of cool. It was a double-bladed sword, so kind of like
you didn't notice that?
It just occurred to me. It was like Darth Maul and stuff like that. Didn't even occur to me. I just thought it was like a throwable weapon, but no, that was a double-bladed sword that he could throw like a boomerang. We're not going to go into the physics of things because it's an anime.
Yeah. Anyways, he at that point he makes the remark that the guy he's like, I wonder if your whole body's that hard, and that's when he gets stabbed in the eye. And it's not even by Juubee, it's by the girl that stabs him in the eye.
Really? No, I thought Juubee threw stuff and she stabbed him in the arm and it broke. He threw stuff like a needle.
You're right. Yeah, he did throw something and stab him in the eye. And she's really tried stabbing him in the arm before, because when he was going to rape her, he became normal flesh and blood. I mean, like, honestly, I'll tell you this right now. How the guy was trying to kiss her and everything like that was a little weird. He was basically kissing her cheek with her whole face. He was much, much larger. Doesn't even cover this man's size. Like, literally, he is basically taking her whole head in his mouth.
Yeah, like he's trying to kiss her, but he ends up like, I don't know, like covering her nose and mouth and
everything else.
It reminded me of like when a dog's trying to kiss a baby, or a baby's trying to kiss a dog, and they end up like just putting their whole mouth all over the nose and stuff. And it was just like, this is way worse as far as the optics go. But yeah, he was not at all small. Anything. No.
And as they move through, obviously she's able to escape with him being stabbed in the eye.
Yeah, they both run.
And at that point, he gets to an area where he's like, all right, well, this is where I need to go. And she tells him where to go. And he just starts walking away. He's like, deuces. He's out. And that's something that I really enjoy. He doesn't want to be involved with anything. He just wants to kind of move around and not be there. And she has this really overwhelming sense of duty. And when you find out, like after he finally walks away, that's when her very cold, hardened front really falls. And that's where you feel the humanity portion of it, because she breaks down and starts crying because of the act that had just happened. She was just violated.
And she lost, we assume, her family. So she eventually makes her way back to the feudal lord, I think it was what we can call him, because he's not the shogun.
He's the chamberman or chamberlain. I forget what they call him.
So she makes it back to him to make her report, and he's busy having sex with somebody. And like mid-stroke, he stops and goes, "What do you want?" And he listens, and then he continues having sex, and then gives his remarks back, completely not caring about her, what just happened. Like, it was a nuisance to him almost.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, since when did human life become so
little? Well,
unappreciated? I mean, like little, small, unappreciated.
Yeah. So I can completely understand that. I really can. And it just shows that he's in the position to where he doesn't care about anyone at all. And so she, with her order, she goes back out and she's trying to find this village and, actually give a report on what's happening. But Juubee, while all that's going on, he's getting blackmailed by being poisoned and he's like, "Hey man, I'll pay you 100 Rio if you come work for me." He's like, "Nah, I'm good. I just want to go." Well, about that, you're poisoned, so you either do this or you're dead. Well, shit.
So the guy we're talking about is this little old Asian dude who witnessed the attempted rape and the fight, and when they were running away, he witnessed everything.
He witnesses that, and he also witnessed Juubee fighting the Stone Man again, because it's
so the Stone Man finds him and attacks and just royally just wrecks.
When you find out, that's when you find out really that there's something off about her, because the monk says, "You didn't beat beat him all by yourself. You had help from her as he's walking away. He says it right then because while Juubee's fighting him, the stone and everything starts breaking on him. And that's when he really becomes weakened to be able to get attacked.
He does an aerial slice after the dude threw the boomerang thing. Boomerang thing comes back and knocks him in the head. The cool part about that fight that I thought at the very end was that even with the double blade in his head stuck, he still tried to like forehead butt Juubee, and unfortunately he dodged, and fortunately he dodged, but
what I don't understand, all right, is he grabs him, right? Not so much to try and headbutt him, but grabs him by the head or the face. Mm-hmm. And then when he falls down and he's dead, they remove his hand, the same hand that he had grabbed onto Juubee with. And where the palm was a perfect imprint of his face. Yeah. So did his hand just like absorb the facial structure of him, and then he just like sit there and pulsated it into the ground? I mean, that honestly, I'd make a hell of a lot more money doing that than being a goon. I'm just saying. You want a statue? Boom, there you go. Done.
The way that I literally thought about it maybe 20 minutes ago before we started. And so when he grabbed him, it was for two things: to try to kill him, but then also like soften his hand and then harden his hand again right around his face to get the mold. And as he was dying, as the last, he slammed his hand into the ground, which created that mold. And I think that was something that was, it was known prior in the Stone Man's group that if something like that would happen, he has that ability, because why else would the snake lady move the hand to find the face? And when the snake lady comes in to the picture, Juubee's like relaxing himself after the fight in a sauna, or in a pool, if you will, rips out a tooth, sits down, and she starts hypnotizing him, and he's like, what the hell?
Yeah, and that's when he gets poisoned.
Right before he sinks down under the hypnosis, if you would call it, the little Asian dude hits him with a shuriken that was poisoned and snaps him out of it, you know?
Yeah. So that's when he gets blackmailed, and it just really kind of goes downhill from there for him, because he's
basically forced to do this.
And that's one of the interesting things that I really find about this is that he's being forced to do something, but he's still able, even while he's being forced, to kind of hold on to his integrity, to his code of honor. Morals. Yeah, his morals. Yeah. And that really just kind of shows his true character all the way throughout. Even when he comes across the girl again, Kagero, even how he's treating her, how he's interacting with her, how he's talking to her, he's not talking to her like she's some ninja, some poison taster, some random charlatan or anything like that. He treats her like a woman. He treats her with dignity and respect. He says, look, you can't be hanging around. You need to go. Don't worry. Just go away. And he really just all the way throughout really shows this emotion.
Genuine care for other people.
Exactly.
And he doesn't really even, I would say, want to do the spy, who the little old Asian man. You find out later he's a spy for the Shogun. And
you find out around the same time that he's actually being blackmailed. He calls him out on it.
Yeah, but he's basically a spy for the government, if you will. And the Shadow of the Brotherhood, I think that's what they call him.
Shogun of the Dark.
Shogun of the Dark. There you go. Sorry. And the eight demons that he's got. He finds out, or Juubee finds out that one of the demons is
the leader is Genma, and Genma was someone that Juubee supposedly had killed personally,
chopping off his head. Very vividly remembers it. Yes. This is a thing that actually happened.
Yes.
Now the reason that
we'll get into
killed him, huh?
We'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's when he starts to take this mission to heart, if you will. He didn't really care about it before. He was just like, well, I have a job to do. Fine, whatever.
But when he's told this information, that's when it really... It's like, I need to check this out. And while they're traveling, he's like, he can't be alive. He has to be dead. I remember killing him. And it's, like, honestly, if I had chopped off a guy's head, I'd be dead certain I killed him. I don't know about you.
Chopped the head off and it went flying. It wasn't like one of those ones where you chop it off and it'll fall off eventually. No, like horseback riding, chop your head off, your head goes flying 20-ish feet away.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even a close call. It was just done. and somehow he was able to pull himself back together, so to speak.
Yeah, and they actually find out while they're fighting the other 8 demons, one of them who has bees in his body, which is a little weird. He becomes
a human beehive.
Yeah.
A wasp's nest or whatever.
Yeah. He says, well, I can't resurrect like Genma. And so he brings it up to the old man, and the old man actually goes into some detail about this. And he goes, yeah, that's a technique that supposedly never exists. He basically is immortal because you have control all the way down to your very cell as to what you could do. So decapitated head, limbs, crushed body, doesn't matter. You're able to come back. You're basically immortal.
And it's weird because you're like, the way everybody moves was loosely based out of reality. So you're thinking like ninjutsu and stuff like that. It's a bit far-fetched. However, the old man can turn into a tree for disguise, kind of.
Well, I think he's more along the lines of a chameleon. He doesn't turn into a tree. He grabs a branch to make it look like he's part of the tree.
You're right. He does have a branch in his mouth. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
He's able to. Okay, that makes sense. So you've got the guy with the beehive or wasp nest on his back. You've got a guy that that can sink into the shadows. You've got a lady that is an explosions expert, but on other people, she'll sew you up and make you blow up that way. You've got an electrocution guy. You've got Genma who can self-resurrect. Am I missing any?
Aside from the stone dude that died, and same thing with Snake Lady. Yeah, that's about everyone.
Okay. So also
you got a blind guy who dies in a very unmiraculous way. So
I thought he was the electrocution dude.
No, he's not the electrocution guy. That's the guy with the wire, the one that's super obsessed. Yurimaru is the one who's the electrocution guy.
Gotcha. Yep, you're right. I apologize. That is one guy I missed. The blind dude who essentially uses sound as his attack.
He dies in a pretty unmiraculous way.
Yeah, he gets stabbed. So he's not special.
I felt like I was let down right there. They built it up like it was supposed to be this great fight. He's right there. They're fighting a little bit. And then he has his sword up, and he just like goes straight in for a center stab, and he just that wasn't supposed to be there. I thought he came down with a sword and hit another sword. It's like the one that was the lady, the one that the lady got stuck in the bamboo. Yeah, I guess.
But no, I agree. He got stabbed. You're like, well, that sucked.
That was like kind of a letdown.
Well, considering you've got explosions and like people devolving into snakes, and you
got to throw one regular guy out there.
Yeah, so, you got to have the guy with you got to have your own Daredevil in there,
Well, he definitely was that. So, but he didn't survive like Daredevil does.
No, he doesn't. Not even a little bit.
I have a question for you, sir, and this is kind of off topic, but remember, like he was tearing out his tooth, just like nonchalantly, just pulls his tooth out after that fight.
Yeah, after the Stone Man fight. Yeah.
I wonder how many times he's done that. Just like randomly
I don't know, because every single time. I don't know, because every single time you see him talking before, he's got no missing teeth. He's like a shark, just grows that thing back. He's like, I'm going to be a fighter when I grow up, so I should get this ability.
Yeah, and it's not like he was reaching far. It's not like he was reaching far back either. It was like pretty close up where he was reaching.
Yeah, it was like a mid molar.
Yeah, should have seen something.
Right.
He just pulls it out. Like when he pulls it out, it's not like it's broken or anything like that either. It's like the whole tooth.
Yeah. He's like, well, it was going to come out anyway.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, he can talk perfectly fine. He can eat perfectly fine. Like if it was me and that happened to me, I think I'd spend most of the movie just tonguing my missing tooth going, that doesn't feel, I'd be distracted.
Does he eat after the rice ball? I don't think so. I don't think they eat. The only one that does any consumption at all is Kagero when she's testing the water for poison.
That's true.
There's no point in him eating anyways. His timeline was like what, a day
2
and a
days.
half, a day and a night.
It was 2 total days. But anyway, yeah. So he's poisoned, right? And the little Asian dude, the spy, was like, the only way you can get rid of your poison is by sleeping with her.
Actually, he doesn't tell her that.
Oh wait, so the Asian dude told her that.
Yeah, he told her that.
Okay,
and he doesn't even say say it to her. You just see her reaction to it. Like after what's already been said has been said. And that's when she gets captured. Now, how she gets hypnotized by a shadow ninja there is a bewilderment on me, because the dude, first of all, is super creepy. Takes out
the shadow guy.
He has a super long, creepily long tongue, and his nails are just as creepy and long and sharp. And so they show her in this red setting with these shadows. And I don't care for that style of animation. How he hypnotizes her is by licking his fingers and then slobbering. Slobbering doesn't even do it justice. I mean, like, it is just drenched where it's like he gagged on his own fingers and threw up saliva all over him and sticks him up her hoo-ha. All right. Sticks him right there in the envelope.
Well, that's how I hypnotize people. I mean,
yeah, at that point, I don't know. I've personally never done that and said, I need you to kill this person that you've been traveling with. And they do it.
Fair. Fair.
That's next level.
Yeah. No, I do think that was a little gratuitous as far as what was not necessarily acceptable, what was needed for that scene. It was too much, in my personal opinion. I could have done without that.
Yeah.
Maybe like a pinprick behind the ear or something like that to like
something else. It didn't need to be, I'm going to basically molest you and you will become my slave because I'm going to hypnotize you with my creepy antics.
Yeah. And what's even weirder is the second he dies. Now, in that fight, what's his name? Juubee. I don't know why I said Jinbei. So Juubee throws his sword at a shadow where the chain's coming out and stabs him in the back. Like that, and very anticlimactic for a supposed assassin.
Yeah, he falls out and then falls down onto the sword, stabbing him even more.
Yeah.
So we have two very we actually have a lot of anticlimactic deaths. The only one that wasn't anticlimactic was the first one, and that was it.
I don't know. The last battle was kind of very climactic. So
the last battle left me with a lot of questions of reality and how it works.
So the man turning a stone and still fighting had you just, oh yeah, that's normal.
Well, like with the end, because Juubee is on the ship and Genma is trying to get away, and he's like, I'm going to be the bad man of them all. He gets on there. Yeah. Anyways, before he even gets on the ship, you find out that Genma was that old creepy guy that was having his way with the mistress while Kagero came and gave a report. You find out that that was Genma the whole time. He's like, yeah, he's been dead for a long time.
Yeah. Now, what's really cool is, I guess it comes with the ability to
when you have control
your cells, I guess. But he changes his face, he changes his weight, he changes his muscle structure, and that's how he started looking like the shogunate, or what would we say, the chieftain?
Chamberlain.
Yeah. So he becomes the Chamberlain by physically altering everything, and when he reverts back, he goes from this to a facial structure to a gooey mess to a rock hard other facial structure complete with scars. Now, I should probably ask this because it annoyed me so much. If you have the ability to manipulate your cells and everything, why would you leave a scar?
To remind you of what happened.
There's no such thing as mirrors in this whole thing. How would you see the scar?
Because of reasons.
Exactly.
Well, hang on. Let me counter that with this. He's able to change his whole body and everything like that, right? Does that include the giant metal armor arm that he has? Does that include that too? That's not part of him. It technically should have never morphed or changed with him. He should have been a fat old man riding around with something that is way too large and long for his left arm.
Maybe just like the dude who can change his shit into sword, maybe he's like, I just need this metal, so I'm going to change my physical, my my arm into, like a cyborg arm for.
Well, it wasn't even a cyborg
reasons.
arm. It was just armor on his arm.
But he never took it off, so it could have technically been his own stuff.
Yeah, but you saw underneath it and that it was a normal arm. So
you know what? He's paying attention to detail. He is a perfectionist.
Okay. All right. You know what? We'll go with that. We'll go with he's a perfectionist. But when he before he even changed his back, that's when he stabs a Kagero. Poor girl.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
She gets the short end of the stick on everything except the sword, apparently. Because he stabs her straight through the chest, which should have been like an instant fatality. Because if you do any kind of anatomy, that was straight through her heart.
Yeah.
But she survives just long enough to offer herself to Juubee.
No, she offered herself before that. She offered herself after Juubee had unhypnotized her from Shadow Man's magic.
After she stabbed him, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, he wakes up. She strips naked. She goes, yeah, old creepy monk over there. He told me poison cancels out poison because that's a real thing. And so in order for you not to die, you have to sleep with me because I am poisonous. And he just like holds her. He's like, walks away. And so
now he kisses her.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't even kiss her. Not there.
No, he does.
No, he doesn't. He kisses her when she's on her deathbed.
Oh, okay.
After she gets stabbed, she's over there. She's like, I wish you would have slept with me, whether it was out of pity or something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess I get that. I mean, like, she would have finally been able to have sex and the dude not die.
Yeah. The dude's now better off because of it rather than dead.
Yeah. So instead, he kisses her and then he sends her off in a boat.
Which does the exact same thing as cure him. So he didn't have to have sex with her.
Yeah.
And again, back to his morals. He didn't take advantage of the situation because he didn't feel he had the right to.
Exactly, which is something I really enjoyed about this. It was great.
Yeah.
But at the end, towards the end, right, when they're on the ship, Genma and Juubee are fighting. Genma gets his arm broken pretty harsh.
Pretty early on.
Yeah. But he's able to slice off Genma's arm, and Genma just like walks over after he beats the crap out of Juubee some more, and just like plops his arm back on like it's Legos. He's like, boop, there we go.
And you see him like flex really hard.
Yeah,
and you can almost. It's kind of cool because if you pay attention, the part that's still his body flexes for like a good second or two, and then the arm like ripples down to the fingertips where it flexes, and then he's like, oh yeah. Now it's back. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little
that attention was
out
kind of
there.
nice.
It's a little out there.
I think we kind of skipped over why he was on a ship. So for some reason, they wanted to overthrow the government, and to do that, you need money. Somehow, some way, someone hid a crap ton of gold. Well, Juubee
found out that in this particular town where Genma and Genma's followers were secretly mining all this gold. Well, Juubee was not happy about it, and so it kind of created factions in between Juubee's side and Genma's side, and then Juubee just obliterates and slaughters everyone and goes and kills Genma, and the gold is lost.
He only obliterates everybody because they didn't give him a choice.
True.
Genma,
that is very true.
Genma was like the leader of that little thing.
He was.
And he's like, hey, you got to kill this guy. And Juubee was like, you can't do that. This is wrong. Please don't make me fight you. And then, of course, they attack, and he's got tears streaming down his face as he kills everybody. And as Genma is riding away, Juubee left a trap for him where he hopped out of the snow in front of the horse and lopped off his head.
I have this question. His head chopped off. It's like we already know that you can survive and everything like that. Okay, he can walk over and pick up his arm.
Going for a good,
if you chop off the head, right? Yep. If you chop off the head, does that mean you can telepathically still control the cells of your body?
No. See, what happened was, the head chopped off. The horse kept running. Like I said, about a football field. So he had to use his tongue and eat dirt and maybe horse shit while he rolled himself all the way to the body. So for the record, none of this is canon. I'm just...
We're taking liberties here. He tongued himself all the way up to where the horse is. And here's my other question, right? he probably was chewing his way up, using his mouth up, and then tongue the horse a little bit to get on the back, just so that way he can tongue his way over to his body, and then use his mouth on himself to get his head up back on there.
Could you imagine if he got it backwards on accident?
He probably would have just like chopped it off and
chopped it and spun at the same time. So it lands back and he's just, okay, we're good.
That's probably why. There you go. There's the answer to the scar. He kept having to chop his head off and spin it.
He's like, this is the wrong angle. Crap. Okay, that's better. Almost there. Oh man. But anyway, so they're fighting at the very end, and they're on the ship, and somehow, some way, fire breaks out because they explode the blowing up girl, and the fire reaches the gold, which has apparently a stupidly low melting point. And there was so much gold on here, they create a molten river of gold mid-fight that somehow doesn't burn through the wood. Yep. Logic.
I mean, anyway. To help you clarify the melting point of gold, it's just under 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, or just over
so campfire can definitely get to that.
Yeah. So just over 1,000 degrees Celsius, depending on your viewpoint and preference, Fahrenheit, Celsius.
Okay. So like a total campfire way past that normally. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean,
again,
like
sarcasm in case you couldn't tell.
Wood, I mean, like has a burning point of far, far lower than that. So obviously it can withstand it and not burn up that fast. So
it makes sense. But anyway, so the gold starts melting for some reason. They're fighting, and Juubee jumps and catches himself and pulls himself onto a ledge that's basically another floor. And Genma is covered in gold. And now I'm thinking he's super shiny. He turned gold. Super Saiyan time. And thankfully that didn't happen. But he does jump up and grab his arm while he's grab Jinbei's leg while he's encased in gold. Jinbei takes his good arm somehow, some way, he's able to pull himself up with his good arm and simultaneously swipe with his good arm. Logic. And chops his arm off again. Or chops Genma's arm off again. And he flows into the ocean. Now, he flows with this river of gold. Jack, I think we need to go take a little trip to wherever this is to try to find that gold, because that was
a lot.
Enough gold to set us up for 3 lifetimes.
3 lifetimes each. And then...
Yeah, I was going to say 3 lifetimes and a bunch of ex-wives.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the amount of gold on there was ridiculous. It was it was a little it was a lot of control.
There was a couple tons there.
There was more than just a couple of tons. I mean, a couple tons would be like an understatement. I mean, like the amount of gold that was there.
A river.
There was enough there to create a mansion out of pure gold. A multi-story.
Somehow it'd fit on a boat.
Yep.
Anyway, he goes down. I almost forgot. Before this final fight even started, Genma had one of the most badass orders I've ever heard, bar none. So one of his underlings comes up and goes, "The boat is on fire. We don't know what to do. We need an order." And he goes, "Tell everyone to abandon ship and I'll contact them later." It was not even in his thought process that this was not going to go, he was not going to survive this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're able to resurrect yourself, why not?
Well, I mean, I guess, but still, that much confidence. You have no idea how many people are fighting on your ship, attacking your guys, and you're just gonna be like, "I'll handle it. You go on. You go hide. I'll send for you later." So, still kind of cool. Anyway, he loses. Obviously, he gets carted with gold off the side of the building.
Yeah. So my other question for you is now: is he really dead?
Oh yeah, they Wolverined his ass.
Is he?
Yeah.
I mean, is he? He has an opening.
What?
Where his arm got chopped off. Yeah. It's not covered in gold anymore.
That's true. That means he's going to bleed out, or he's going to hold his breath, or somehow convert water into oxygen.
Blood. He can control his blood to break away the gold.
Can he though? Let's be honest here.
Hey, with a super low melting point of gold, all he has to do is think real hard. Maybe pass some gas and he'll be there.
I'm warm. I promise I'm warm. Is that an icicle? No. It's warm. I can do this.
Yeah. So
yeah, I would say he drowned hard.
Yeah. Never know. We'll never know.
Yeah.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, sir, how would you rate this?
I would 8. If we could do points, I'd go 8.5, because I'm teetering between 8 and 9, only because it's It's a good movie. It's not the first time I've seen it. It's the first time I've seen it with eyes that understand a lot of crap that's going on. But it's got rewatch value. It's a lot like Akira, in my opinion. I could watch that 2 or 3 times a year and be fine and not be tired of it.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a 7. The reason why I'm going with a 7 is because of the River of Gold, the random scar, and other random aspects that I just had trouble getting past.
Okay. Well, I mean, we should probably talk about the actual ending because that was the ending of the fight.
Which is basically the ending because...
it goes for another 5 minutes where I think they tie up loose endings. So I'm trying to throw that in there so you can raise your score just a little bit.
It's not going to raise my score.
Well, long story short, he survived. Jinbei survives the thing, and he takes a memento from the poison girl and wraps it around his sword and walks off into the distance.
Like I said, that was basically the ending.
Hey. Book ending right there. Although they're talking about a second one coming out.
I hope
they've been talking about it for the last 20 years, but they're talking about it.
Yeah, I don't think they will. All right.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's be honest here. You can't ever go wrong with an awesome swordsman.
I mean, technically there is, but it's a series.
There's a way you can go wrong?
No. I mean, like there is a sequel to it, but it's a series.
Oh.
Came out in 2003.
Huh. I'll have to take a look at that then. Anyway, so mine's a 7.5 if I could, but a 7. And yours is an 8 or 7. Yours is an 8. Yeah. Yours is a 7 too.
No, you said no. You said yours was an 8. So you want to change it to a 7?
No. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go with 8. You're right.
Okay.
8.
All right.
I'm gonna raise this score for you.
So 7 for me, 8 for you. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I actually had received some feedback on one of the shows. It was about My Neighbor Totoro, and so we were talking about how we felt that it was a little weird that the father was bathing with the daughters.
Yeah.
Apparently that is still very much a thing even to this day, and that it's not in Japan. It's actually not considered creepy at all. It's actually standard practice to even be in your teens and 20s and still be bathing or going to bed with your family. So yeah. I mean,
I'm a little bit shocked by that, but I mean,
that was interesting. It kind of threw me for a loop, kind of hit me off to the...
It's not something that I'm familiar with, but I mean, I guess it's one of those things, don't knock until you try it, but I don't really want to try it.
Careful.
No. What I mean is it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
You got to think about it. Like
it is a very, very much a cultural thing.
Families are much more tight knit over there. People live a whole lot longer, so maybe they know something we don't.
Maybe. Also, the whole deal with the spirits and how I had made the comment about the father not reacting to the spirits or Totoro out there in the field. Yeah. They actually believe wholeheartedly that spirits are around them and encompass them and are a part of their lives, as well as former family members. And that if you were to actually leave the country, you would no longer be protected or blessed by your family.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So very, very much changing my outlook on that whole scene. Still would freak me out if I saw something big like that out there. But I thought that was very interesting, very good. I enjoyed the feedback. And thank you for setting us straight in regards to both the spirits and the father bathing with the daughters, and how that is actually very much still a thing.
Huh. I mean, it would make sense because I've seen other shows that I'm currently watching where that's also a theme. I didn't realize it was. Okay. Wait. My first girlfriend was a gal, the one we just covered. Mm-hmm. That actually happened where the pervert character was bathing in the men's bathroom because they're allowed to bring their daughters in.
Yes. Yep.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. Bring their daughters in of a lower age, of a certain age.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah.
So
all
right.
Kind of cool. Broaden my horizons.
Indeed. It broadened mine too.
So my good sir,
next
what slice of life are you throwing at me next week?
Do you want me to look at slice of life only?
No, not particularly. I'd like to potentially take a break from that.
All right. So next week is my choice, and we're going with my wonderful random selection, and it's going to be Magical Girl Raising Project. It's a action.
Sounds like one you've heard before.
Sure. Okay. Came out in 2016, and it's an action, fantasy, magic, supernatural. So, and it's 12 episodes long, so it's not too long. It's pretty short.
Okay.
And it is rated MA, so rated mature. So yeah, not kind of not what I was really expecting from a name like Magical Girl Raising Project, but sure.
So with a name like that, I was thinking it might be like Card Captors, but when you said it has mature rating, I don't think mature rating goes with Card Captors.
I mean, like it could. So, I mean, you know, I mean, like you want to get a little risque with a card captor.
No, I do not.
Oh, okay. You don't want to be like that. That's cool. You know.
No, I'm good.
You know, honestly, I couldn't tell you what the rating was for Card Captor. I mean, like before it became televised.
Before it became a kids show.
Yeah, before.
Well, you know, Pokemon used to be like a horror thing. Like it was for adults, and it was not nice. And there are some manga going on right now where like legit murder happens.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like, have you actually read? Like even in the games and the cards and everything like that, like have you actually read?
Oh yeah, some of them are horrifying.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Like Abra was a legit kid who woke up as a Pokemon. You're like, oh,
and, yeah, and then Drowsy.
Oh yeah, used to feed off. It used to give people nightmares to feed off the emotion. That was just a lovely character concept.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that the story televised wise is good, but the actual in-depth details about it,
maybe not G-rated, maybe not kid friendly,
maybe not kid friendly. You never know. So I feel like this probably could end up being a adult version of Card Captor Sakura with sisters.
Interesting.
Why not throw sisters in there? Anyways, that's all the time we have for today. If you enjoyed this longer form, or if you have any feedback, or if you feel like we got something wrong, reach out to us. You can reach out to us via email at featuredanimepodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at those anime guys. We even have a voicemail link in the show notes, and I even started up our Discord server, and the link for it will also be in the show notes. So feel free to drop in there and chat with us if you want. Until next time, I'm Jack.
And I'm Rick, and we'll see you later.